Welcome to the Knowledge Seeker channel. The channel is dedicated to exploring critical issues in the world. As such, the channel is not afraid to challenge existing beliefs in order to contribute to the advancement of knowledge. The title of this presentation is Kilikilism The Ijaw Concept of Intelligence and Wisdom. This is an exploration of the subject matter. The purpose of this presentation is to describe the Ijaw concept of intelligence and wisdom. Note, it should be noted that the Ijaw nation contains many sub-ethnic groups, with each having a different dialect. This means that some subgroups have different names for the concept of intelligence and wisdom. Hence, some sub-ethnic groups use the word Kilikili, while others use different words to describe the concept. Regardless of the differences in dialects and/or language, all the Ijaw groups put emphasis on the need for the individual to be intelligent and wise. Now, let's look at the definition of intelligence from the scholarly point of view. Arije Sternberg defines intelligence as, and I quote, the capacity to learn from experience and adaptation to one's environment, I unquote. Benjamin Leahy defines it as, and I quote, the cognitive ability to learn from experience, to reason well, and to cope with the demands of daily living. Thus, intelligence involves the possession of many separate specific abilities. The more an individual possesses these separate abilities, the more he or she is considered intelligent. Now, let's look at the different types of intelligence. Howard Gardner found out that there are different types of intelligence. They include 1. Linguistic intelligence, 2. Logical mathematical intelligence, 3. Musical intelligence, 4. Spatial intelligence, 5. Kinesthetic intelligence, 6. Interpersonal intelligence, and 7. Intrapersonal intelligence. Basically, what this means is that some people have unique skills. So some people have linguistic skills, some people have logical, mathematical skills, and people like that do maths very well. Then some people are very good in music. That is where their intelligence lies. Some people are good in arts. Arts could be drama, drawing, anything of that sort. Then some people are good in kinesthetic intelligence. Some people are good in interpersonal skills. They communicate very well. And then some people are inward looking. Some people combine 2 or 3 of these skills together. Now, if you have all these skills combined, then you are highly intelligent. If you can combine 4 or 5 or 6 of these skills together. Now, what is Kilikilism? Kilikilism originates from the Ijaw word Kilikili, which denotes intelligence and wisdom. Sometimes the word nimi, to know, and nimiye, knowledgeability, are used to refer to wisdom if it is separated from intelligence. As a result, Kilikilism is a cultural doctrine which emphasizes the importance of intelligence wisdom, foresight, critical thinking, the ability to apply theory to practice in order to be grounded in reality. It requires every Ijaw person to be smart, intuitive, have emotional and social intelligence, as well as the ability to read verbal and non-verbal cues from body language and the environment, and to be spiritually aware of the tangible and intangible qualities of existence. So let's look at the broad Ijaw concept of intelligence. The Ijaws tend to agree with the general definition and description of intelligence as elaborated by the scholars, especially the one by Benjamin Leahy. However, as indicated above, that is the Ijaws view intelligence in a broader sense, including the 7 types noted above, as well as foresightedness, sharpness of mind, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, critical thinking, creative thinking, the ability to apply theory to practice, and the ability to make sound judgments and decisions. Therefore, to be intelligent, the individual should be able to read and interpret both verbal and non-verbal communication, know when to speak or not speak in a gathering, and use appropriate language at the right time in a gathering. Due to the broad nature of the concept of intelligence, Ijaw culture requires members to be intelligent by not being arrogant, deceitful, irresponsible, disrespectful, and indisciplined. It requires the individual to be perceptive and know how to speak to elders, age mates, and juniors. It requires the individual to be humble and down to earth and not engage in telling of tall tales. In fact, the Ijaws hate lying and being deceitful. Due to the rigorous demand for the application of intelligence, the Ijaws find it difficult to lie, engage in propaganda, and present falsehood as truth. The tortoise in many African folk tales represents intelligence. Why? Because they said because of his physical nature, it is handicapped. It cannot run, it cannot hide easily, and yet it survives because it is able to survive. It is considered to be very wise, to be very intelligent. That is why the tortoise in many African cultures, including the Ijaws, use it as a symbol of intelligence. The parrot is regarded as a symbol for eloquence. Anybody who can speak very well, communicate very well, will be equated with being a parrot. In many African ethnic groups, and sometimes including the Ijaws. Now, let's see how the Ijaws embrace intelligence and wisdom. Due to the broad manner in which they regard intelligence, the Ijaws raise their members to be intelligent, foresighted, and knowledgeable. To develop such qualities, children are socialized to respect their parents, elders, and teachers by listening and not talking back until a senior person finishes speaking. In addition, education is carried out in an experiential manner in the sense that children are trained to develop practical skills in learning how to farm, fish, swim, climb trees, cook, wrestle, dance, and apply critical thinking in making decisions. Generally, the Ijaws respect those who are intelligent, have long-term memories, are very observant, and are well socialized. Due to the significance of spirituality, mysticism in their culture, they encourage their children to acquire physical, emotional, and spiritual intelligence. Those who have these qualities are believed to learn better and have sharp memories. Thus, it is inferable that the Ijaw concept of intelligence includes wisdom, that is, the ability to make sound judgments and decisions based on knowledge, experience, and critical thinking. Now, let's see how the Ijaws divide intelligence into two. They seem to divide intelligence into two types. One, natural intelligence, and two, acquired intelligence. 1. Natural intelligence is attributed to those who are biologically predisposed to having sharpness of mind, are very intelligent, foresighted, behave maturely, and do not necessarily need a formalized education to sharpen their minds. Individuals who possess natural intelligence are often viewed as born leaders. In some Ijaw dialects, the word Kilikili is used to describe someone who is sharp-minded. They expect every member of any group to be Kilikili regardless of socio-economic status. Generally, those who are viewed as being naturally gifted with intelligence and wisdom are often considered to possess leadership qualities and are groomed to become leaders. Such individuals have high levels of emotional and social intelligence, hence have interpersonal skills and think critically before they speak or act. Thus, in Ijaw land, there are individuals who have never attended formal educational institutions, yet are very intelligent, sharp-minded, and wise. When such individuals speak, even those with university education listen to them intently for their wisdom. This is a formal educational institution. This is at Akasa Junior Secondary School at Akasa in Ijaw land. This is a classroom in Kalabari National College in Buguma in Rivers State. This is a classroom at CSS Agud Obolu School in Andoni, Rivers State. This is a graduation gathering at the Niger Delta University in Bayelsa. All of these are formal institutions that children go to school in order to develop knowledge. Now, let's look at acquired intelligence. Acquired intelligence, on the other hand, is often attributed to knowledge gained through schooling or any formalized training. So those students you saw in the pictures earlier are students who are acquiring book knowledge. This is also referred to as book knowledge, not only in Ijaw land, but in other parts of Nigeria also. Those who possess this kind of knowledge are highly respected if they also possess natural intelligence or are Kilikili. On the other hand, those who are not viewed as naturally intelligent but are able to acquire knowledge through formalized education are respected, but not as much as those who combine both attributes. Therefore, the Ijaws tend to judge people based on their level of natural intelligence. For instance, if an individual holds a PhD degree but keeps fumbling in thought and behavior, that is, the Ijaws can mock the person by saying that the individual has an acquired knowledge but does not seem to possess natural intelligence. So they differentiate between natural intelligence and book intelligence. If an individual is viewed in such a way, the individual is always compelled to demonstrate that he or she is intelligent and foresighted. Even the least educated person in the Western sense can go to a very educated person who is viewed as not being sharp-minded and mock the individual for being stupid. It is not uncommon to hear people say, "You go to school for nothing. You foolish man or woman. PhD my foot." The statement "PhD my foot" is used in Nigeria's pidgin English to deride an individual by implying that the person's degree is worthless because the person is not naturally sharp-minded and is not grounded. This means that the individual finds it difficult to turn theoretical concepts into practical applications based on the cultural environment. Thus, any Ijaw person that is arrogant, conceited, pretentious, speaks aimlessly, gets angry uncontrollably, and is disrespectful is considered not to be Kilikili even if the individual is well educated. The ability to adjust to the culture and behave appropriately is very important in demonstrating the quality of Kilikilism in Ijaw land. Now, as part of the process of developing intelligence or inculcating intelligence, the Ijaws also have respect for long-term memories. The Ijaws seems to encourage their members to develop long-term memories of events that surround their lives. This is why they rarely forget events that affect them. They can discuss past events as if the events had taken place yesterday, even though there are no written records of such events or activities. The ability to remember events as if such things happened yesterday enables them to keep focus on issues that affect them. Those Ijaws who speak their dialects fluently tend to regard themselves as the walking libraries and archives of their communities. Generally, those who have sharp memories are considered naturally intelligent. Now, the Ijaws also encourage their members to observe physical and spiritual matters. The Ijaws expect their members to learn, observe, and memorize not only physical phenomena, but also mystical, spiritual, non-tangible phenomena. This requires acquiring knowledge about matters relating to the five senses, that is, taste, smell, touch, hearing, and sight, as well as knowledge pertaining to the sixth sense. The sixth sense involves being able to perceive sensation that is not easily amenable to the five senses. Being able to reflect through deep thinking and project future possibilities for various action scenarios are highly desirable traits in Ijaw land. The Ijaws engage in proactive socialization of their members. Thus, they try to inculcate Kilikilism through proactive socialization of their members in the following ways. 1. The youths are encouraged to learn traditional ways of doing things. 2. They are encouraged to observe not only human but also animal and insect behaviors and to use or apply experiences gained from the observations in their daily lives. 3. The ability to interpret important symbols is central to making critical decisions. 4. Traditionally, the Ijaws speak using extensive parables, wise sayings, and idioms. From the moment a child begins to walk and speak, the parents and other family members use these methods of communication to encourage deep critical thinking, reflection, and problem-solving skills. 5. The socialization process prepares every child for future leadership. 6. Learning to develop basic social and life skills starts very early in the life of an Ijaw child. Cognition. In psychology, cognition focuses on visualizing, thinking, perceiving, imagining, planning, creating, and problem solving. The Ijaws encourage cognitive ability in the following ways. 1. To encourage respect and the ability to listen. Children are socialized not to talk back when their parents and other adults are speaking to them. 2. The Ijaw person is expected to recognize symbolic meanings of events and unusual phenomena. For example, if a person goes into the forest and sees a clearing that did not exist before, the individual is expected to take note of the unusual clearing and use the information to assist him or her in making decisions. 3. The ability to decipher cause and effect relationships is very important. This allows individuals to project likely scenarios for certain behaviors and actions. 4. Just as the Ijaws tend to divide intelligence into natural and acquired, they also believe that the world is both physical and spiritual. They recognize physical reality involving the 5 senses that are the basis of scientific knowledge. In addition, they also believe that there is a spiritual, metaphysical, mystical world. Understanding the duality is part of the intelligent application of knowledge in Ijaw land. Due to the belief in the duality of the world, that is, the world of God, spirituality, mysticism, and the world of earth, physicality, the members of the ethnic group tend to raise their children to be conscious of the physical and spiritual worlds. This explains why they maintain that individuals must live a balanced life. Anyone who engages in excesses is considered not Kilikili. Conclusion. In Ijaw land, Kilikilism is a highly espoused cultural ideology that encourages every individual to be intelligent, foresighted, intuitive, and apply critical thinking in decision making and be grounded in thought and deeds. The Ijaws actively promote the ideology of intelligence and wisdom through active socialization of their members. Hence, as soon as children begin to speak, various knowledge skills, including emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and critical thinking skills, are reinforced through frequent use of parables, practical training and demonstrations, and symbols to encourage deep thinking are inculcated. Kilikilism encourages individuals to be self-restrained, humbled, honest, respectful, and know when to speak and not to speak in a gathering. Be perceptive of verbal and non-verbal communication styles, relate to the cultural environment, and act appropriately. Those who cannot demonstrate these qualities are considered not Kilikili. This means that they are not grounded in reality. As can be seen, due to the ideology of Kilikilism, the Ijaws do not engage in propaganda or engage in YouTube presentations intended to provide half-truths or be deceitful to the public. Those who lie or are deceitful are considered intelligent but trickish and unreliable. Any individual who lacks self-discipline, speaks recklessly, engages in angry confrontations, finds it difficult to relate to the culture, and is not grounded in thought and deeds is regarded as not being sharp-minded. Any individual who is book smart but finds it difficult to apply ideas learned in school to the cultural environment is likely to be regarded as book smart but not Kilikili. Thus, it is necessary to be Kilikili in order to be fully respected. This is why every family endeavors to raise their children to be intelligent, develop leadership skills, and think critically. Thank you for listening to this presentation. Please subscribe to the channel and listen to other informative presentations. Once again, thank you.